Corbin, appreciate you taking some time. A little earlier, it's an early game there, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got a 12:40 game today. Yeah, so it's a little bit early. Probably a little bit seems late for you guys for a day game on the East Coast, but yeah, that's probably one thing I got to adjust to these West Coast games. They feel pretty early.
They are, but I mean, look, it seems like things are adjusting well, and I gotta know. I grew up in a state where my dad set a wrong example. Played 20 years with one team. It was like everyone's dad's going to play in the big leagues, and they can play for the team that they want to for 20 years. Uh, on a personal level, how nice is it to be able to spend that time at home with family?
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's obviously part of the reason why I was able to sign here was because the family aspect of it. Living here year round is huge. For it's nice for me, but it's even better for my wife and kids knowing that they get to be at home. They're in the spot where they're most comfortable. You're not traveling in season and finding a house to move into for 6 months. So just the comfortability of them being able to be in their bed every day, wake up. My kids got their routine. They got all their toys. I don't worry about moving toys around everywhere. It's definitely nice. So that's definitely a huge plus of being here.
Yeah, I think that's the other side that people don't always recognize. And Cedric Ceddy Mullins was one of my teammates. Actually, a lot of those guys, Corbin, I don't know if you knew this, are my former teammates in the minors. Now they kept continuing on. They were better than me. But I talked to Cedric about, last year trying to, have your family on the road or in Baltimore, and then you're traveling and trying to stay locked in. And for you then specifically, I remember the All-Star game, you're trying to get ready for it and kind of have a couple life events happening, at the moment. So I always feel for that. And I guess going into this for free agency, I know everyone wants to look at the numbers and the finances, and we understand reasons. Did you enjoy this process at all?
Parts of it, yes. Most of it, no. This is the first time you kind of go into an off season. You start your training, you start your throwing, and you don't have coaches to talk to. You don't have that pitching coach to bounce ideas off of. You're kind of on your own. You're going through this work. You're going through your process of working out, getting ready for a team that you don't know who you're going to play for. You don't know who the staff's going to be. So that for me was different and a little bit stressful. Just because you're like, hey, usually you're checking in and seeing how other guys are doing, how teammates are doing, how's the throwing going, that kind of thing. So for me, when you're out there, you just kind of feel like you're on an island. And then obviously the whole free agent process of talking to teams, talking to agent, it takes up a lot of time. So it's one of those things that you almost feel like I lost half the off season because it felt like you're on the phone every day. You're talking to your wife about baseball when it's the off season. You should be talking about vacation and what we're going to do for the kids that day. So definitely was a little bit stressful on that front. But it was also, it was eye opening, to know, obviously, going into it, you're not going to get 30 teams calling, but you think that you're going to get, in my position, maybe a majority of the league, and it just doesn't happen that way. It doesn't matter who the player is. You're going to have the 5 or 6 teams that are interested, and really 1 or 2 that are going to give you the top offer to get you there. So there was definitely a learning process through that as well. But yeah, I'd say for the most part, would have liked to have it get done in the first 2 days and enjoy the entire offseason with the family, but that's not how it goes.
No, and you've actually had 2 eventful off seasons in a row. Right about to go into spring training. Hey, you're going to Baltimore, and then now it's a sitting and waiting for the right opportunity. It seems like you got the right opportunity going to Arizona, and I saw the clip of that. Of people were throwing that out there about the numbers and what the Orioles offered, and look, at the end of the day, yes, of course, to be more in the discussion, you want it to be at a certain threshold. But if you were going to have the right opportunity, Arizona turned out with what they were giving you to be the right opportunity because of everything you just mentioned. Is that kind of fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was always the door was always open to go back to Baltimore. Obviously, there were some other teams that were involved as well, but um, for kind of the way we looked at the process was if Arizona was going to come in and they were going to have a fair price, and it was something that we felt was fair, it was going to be really tough to turn down. Just living here with the young kids, just for me, giving them the easiest life possible in this craziness of baseball, right? So when they kind of showed they were interested, I wouldn't say all the other negotiations got kicked to the back burner, but for me, my focus was like, okay, well, this is something that we can stay here, stay home. Obviously, Boris does a good job of keeping in contact with his other teams in case this didn't work out. But for us, as soon as I heard that they were interested, my attention was fully turned to that, just because that was for us the best situation possible.
Yeah, I mean, you're one of the few players that actually were going to have this opportunity, where you're going to be in demand. And also you could possibly go to a place where it could match personal life and professional. It's crazy, Corbin. You are a person too, not just a baseball player, right, Zach? You have a life outside of here. But you are one of the best. And I guess to kind of wrap things up, maybe with two things. One will be a fun one, but one, you are one of the best in the game. And I know you're getting acclimated. And I'm not – someone mentioned to me about, Corbin's off to a rough start. I could care less because you've proven with your track record. What's helped you be so successful on the mental side of it? I even noticed that when you had spring training last year in Baltimore. I remember you looked like you were trying different things. What's something that kind of gets you acclimated and gets you prepared to handle a 162?
Yeah, for me, once I get in and get to know everyone, obviously this is my second year in a row now where I've gone into a new organization, new faces, new names. Like, so you're trying to get ready for the season, get to know all these people you're going to work with for the season. Try to remember their faces, try to remember their names. There's 80 staff members walking around. You have no idea who's who. So for me, obviously it's tough, but for me, as soon as I get into my routines of my 5-day process, going through my workouts, going through my mental routines, just getting back into video work, for me, it's where I get comfortable. So for me, I knew that as soon as we got through spring training, got into Chase Field here, got into my routines of my my working out, my throwing program, my recovery, my mental work. Just as soon as I could sink into that, I would get comfortable. And it has been that way. It's been great once we got here. Obviously, the numbers on the box score aren't what we want them to be, but that's, like I say, it's part of baseball. You go through those stretches and you just keep chugging along, keep making adjustments as you can. That's going to come out, on the other end of it. But for me, it's just about getting comfortable with this group. I had a great group last year in Baltimore. They're here in town and get to talk to those guys again. So it's good to see them again. But very similar type of feel here with a very young core. So very similar feel. Come in, got acclimated pretty quickly. And now it's just keeping, getting the feet on me and keeping to that process and knowing that things will turn the corner.
Zach, what I'm hearing is players are creatures of habit. You've heard me say this. Trying to get in a routine and get comfortable, and then once you're able to, the results are going to take care of themselves. And the last thing then is, any of those former guys give you some grief? Like if Dean's giving you too much problems, tell me and I'll go talk to Dean right now.
No, those guys didn't give me a hard time. I talked to quite a few of them, throughout the process. They were reaching out just kind of see how things were going. Obviously they would have loved to have me back, but I think everyone kind of understood the family piece of it with me last year. I was traveling a lot to go see them. And so I think, everyone I talked to yesterday was just so happy that I was able to be home and be with the family. And if they were going to lose me to anywhere, it would want to be here, knowing that I could, be home with the family every day and get to spend the most time with them. So I think for them, yes, it sucked that, I wasn't able to come back, but for them knowing that I think I get to be with the family all the time, I think that made them a little bit happier that I'm not back there versus maybe going to somewhere else in their division.
Yeah, and I guess it's happier, right? We wouldn't be talking if you were pitching today. I think not facing off against the Birds as well. I think that was a good gift. But Corbin, I appreciate you taking some time. I wish you nothing but the best. I know you're going to have a sensational year. Stay healthy too, and hopefully can talk to you in the future.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for the kind words.